Hello, what's up, guys? Today I am at home and I want to talk to us about something important, all right? I've often heard a lot of girls pray that they don't want to meet their mother in laws. I don't blame them actually, because maybe their own experiences or maybe their friends, what they've seen their friends experience may have, made them to say they don't want to meet anybody called mother in law, maybe after their wedding, all right? That kind of a prayer point is somehow deadly to me. All right. Yeah, somebody may say maybe my mother-in-law is good and everything. I never did that. I never made that kind of a prayer. I have also discovered that I'm one of the lucky ones that met a good mother-in-law. All right. But today I want us to really talk about this. Is it really good to wish you don't have a mother-in-law because maybe your friends are experiencing something you don't really like, or maybe their mother-in-laws are wicked and everything? And is it something that you should be praying against now that your mother-in-law should die and all that? Well, we are going to talk more on that, but let me make my breakfast first. Yeah, you can join me in making it. Okay, let's just be talking as I'm preparing the breakfast. Now, if as a woman you are making such a prayer, don't you think is a very deadly, deadly, deadly prayer point? I mean, you are a woman and one day you're also going to be somebody's mother-in-law. Don't you think so? Now, if you're praying that somebody dies because she will probably become your mother-in-law tomorrow, what about you? Does it mean that your prospective daughter-in-law should be praying somewhere that you also die before she comes into your family? That's why I said it's a very deadly prayer. Welcome back to Glodikani Marriage School, the place where we help the unmarried to choose right and help the married to stay married until they must run. All right. So, like I was saying, some ladies who are wishing that their mother in law dies before they come in, they should stop. In my own opinion, they should stop wishing such a thing. You know why? Because you're also a woman, and what goes around comes around, as we all know. Don't you think that when you are busy praying that somebody dies as a woman because you don't want to meet her and she turns out to be a wicked person, is it not like you digging your own grave? So please stop praying against the poor woman that you've not even seen or known that she is wicked or not. Instead, you just have to pray that God gives you a good mother-in-law, like some of us who are lucky enough to meet a good mother-in-law. Yes, my mother-in-law is a very good woman. So even though I'm not going to say I don't know what somebody whose mother-in-law is wicked is passing through, I think I can guess, all right? But now let me tell you something. Having a bad mother-in-law or a good mother-in-law is not because somebody is a good daughter-in-law. The truth, like I've always said, is that there are good people on earth and there are bad people. If you're lucky to meet a good woman as your mother-in-law, then you are lucky. But if you're unlucky to meet a bad woman as your mother-in-law, you are unlucky. There's nothing you are going to do about it. So since a good mother-in-law is not determined by how good you are as a daughter-in-law, or a bad mother being determined by how bad you are as a daughter-in-law, that means if this woman is a good woman, she's a good woman and you're lucky. But if she's a bad woman, you are unlucky because you are going to have a bad mother-in-law. Unfortunately, even though you can vet the man you want to marry, maybe ask around, it's not so easy to discover who the mother is unless you're going to take it a step further by a kind of doing some inquiries or asking questions to know who his mother is. All right. Now, during that period when we say we are in love, I want to marry him. No, I'm in love with him. His family doesn't matter. After all, he's humanly I'm married. Some people don't even pay attention to the mother-in-law, palaver, or the sister-in-law issue. We don't really pay attention to those things. But I want to tell you something. If you're someone who is following me, I think You should pay attention to whether his mom is a good woman or a bad woman. Forget about this mother in law. Look at the person she is as a human being. If she's a good person, you are in heaven. But if she's a bad person, you are in trouble. I know some people may be saying, after all, I'm not going to live with the mother. That's a very big lie you're telling yourself. Let me tell you something. Men and their mothers are close. Haven't you noticed that? The men and their mothers, the women and their fathers. Like you get. So your husband values his mom. So whether you are telling yourself, after all, is the man I'm marrying, I'm not marrying the mother, you better stop it, because if sometimes if you even want to gain the heart of your husband more, you treat his mom right. There is no two ways about it. If he's a man that loves his mother, which of course we know that many men do, you shouldn't go and be treating the mother badly. Okay, and be saying, after all, is the man I'm going to marry. So if you are part of those people who are scared of meeting a bad mother-in-law, you better do your investigations well. Now, if you failed to do your investigation well and later discovered that the mother of your husband, that is your mother-in-law, is a very wicked person, I just have something to tell you. Don't go about and be taking it personally, all right? Like I said earlier, if that woman was a good woman, her goodness will envelop you, okay? Yes, I know somebody may say, what if the daughter-in-law is a devil, all right? Mm, I'm coming to that. Now, let's talk about if she's a good woman or if she's a bad woman and you've already jammed them. Now, if she's a good woman, you don't have any problem, all right? Because her goodness will flow to you, all right? I've also discovered that some people who are just naturally good people, good-hearted people, even when they meet a bad or wicked daughter-in-law, they can only show her love. They can only show her acceptance. You know why? They don't force people to be good. Like, good people, goodness comes from the heart. A good woman is a good woman. Even when you bring your wickedness, okay, she can't help but being good. So if you have a good woman as your mother-in-law, of course, she's going to spread her goodness to you. Even though you are a Jezebel, she may even find it easier to love you and even tolerate or forgive you. Now, if you are not the Jezebel and the woman you've met as your mother-in-law is wicked, I want to tell you something. Don't Number one, don't take it personal, all right? She's just who she is. And let me tell you a secret. Even your husband knows that his mom is a Jezebel. Your sister-in-laws knows that their mom is a Jezebel. So don't go putting yourself in situations that you cannot handle or situations that you cannot manage, all right? When everybody is running away, my opinion and my advice is to do what? Run away. You are not the Holy Spirit. Don't go and try to change. Otherwise, she will only see everything you do, everything you try, like, let me see how I'm going to be a good daughter-in-law. She will misunderstand the whole thing. She will misconstrue the whole thing and in fact turn it against you. That's why I say don't even bother. If your mother-in-law is a heartless person, you better stay far from her, all right? Another thing I want to share is this. If you are trying to maybe get to know your husband to be's mother, and you've done some investigations and you discover that the woman is a wicked woman, all right? If it's possible, if you can, you better leave that marriage and don't even go ahead with that marriage. You see, I've seen a case where a woman told the prospective daughter-in-law, she said, I don't want my son to marry you. And if you go ahead to marry my son, you are going to regret it for the rest of your life. She said, no, I'm a born again. My husband is a born again. There's nothing the woman can do or whatever. I don't know what may have been, passing through her mind, whereby she went ahead to marry the man. Now, when she started having children, the woman now told her, is not about having children. Is about having good children or training them well. Like in fact, as I'm talking to you, that woman is seeing a lot of things in her life. Some of her children are, developing mental issues, and the mother-in-law is still there. So if you have not entered and you meet this kind of mother-in-law, You have, in fact, it is better you have the chance to know whether this is a cross you want to carry or this is something you cannot carry. Because if you go about saying, after all, is the man only I'm going to marry, that you are deceiving yourself. Even if the churches will tell you that marriage is for just you and your husband, that kind of a lie is so big that I don't even know how to start talking about it. Because when marriage is a kind of a union between two families. It's not just you and your husband alone. All right, you marry everybody. You will gain another family. You will gain a good mother-in-law or a bad mother-in-law. You will gain dubious kinds of maybe other family members, extended family members that you never planned for. You may gain sister-in-laws that are so insulting, they don't even have regard for you. So when somebody is saying it's only the husband, it's only the man you are going to marry, and the other people do not matter, don't ever believe such a thing. So it's better for you to investigate as a woman. Look, men don't usually have some of these problems. After all, they don't have any business with their mother-in-law. If their mother-in-laws come to the house and misbehave, a man has the right to say, go back to your husband's house, or he will tell the wife, please tell your mother to go home. That is it. But you as a wife cannot come and tell your husband and tell your mother to go home. If the woman is of course outrightly evil and everybody knows it, that one may work for you. But if you got married to a mama's boy or somebody who overlooks all the fault of the mother and is always looking for every situation to blame you, you are in trouble. You can't just come up and say, tell your mother to leave this house. It's not possible. In worst case scenarios, your husband may beat you into a pub for even commanding him to tell his mom to go. So this is why I said it's better you know her before you say I do, so that you don't find yourself in situations that you never expected. So when you are concentrating on knowing who the husband is going to be or who the man is going to be, it's also better you pay little attention to know who your mother-in-law is going to be. Stop praying that your mother-in-law dies or you don't want to meet a mother-in-law. Now, take us for instance. I said before that I'm one of the lucky people who met good mother-in-laws. Now, sometimes when I don't have anything in my house, or before I even call her and say, Mama, we don't have Gary, we don't have, she has already organized everything and she will send it to me. If I have somewhere I'm going now, I don't want to leave my children alone with my dear in the house, I will call my mother-in-law and say, Mama, please come and stay with my children and my girl. Let me travel to my village and stay. We have maybe a church program or anything. And you will see her, she will leave everything she's doing and she will come to my house and stay. She doesn't even like, why is this girl doing this or what? So I'm lucky to have her. Now, if you are lucky to have somebody like that, I will also tell you, don't ever forget that she is doing well by you, and because of that you have to also do well by her. Now, some of us whose mothers are alive, okay, don't forget your mother-in-law because you are concentrating on your own mother alone. No, 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 no. Think about something very important. As a woman, tomorrow you are going to be a mother-in-law, and whatsoever you sow is what you're going to reap. So you better treat your own mother-in-law well if she is somebody that you can treat well. Even the ones that are not, so friendly, like I said, stay far, but do everything you're supposed to do for them as a daughter-in-law, but do it from afar. Believe me, it's better for you to stay far from them than coming to rub shoulder or trying to, have arguments with them. It doesn't pay. I have a friend of mine. In fact, when I say somebody is a good woman, she's a good woman. Even as a daughter-in-law, she's a good woman. All right. Every December, she will buy the same. In fact, if she's spending 50,000 naira on her mother, she's also going to spend the same amount on her mother-in-law. In fact, every day, the mother-in-law, whenever I go there, the mother-in-law will be applauding her and saying, oh, this is my daughter-in-law, this is my daughter-in-law. I don't want to sound somehow, but this is exactly what my mother-in-law also talks about me. Yes, this is also what she talks about me because I also try my little best, all right? So even though your mom is alive, please treat your mother-in-law the same way you are treating your mom. If your mother is not alive, treat your mother-in-law the same way you would have treated your mom if she was alive, all right? And believe me, this is another way to win a man's heart. Okay, I know the popular thing is the way to a man's heart is food and this and that. But let me tell you, if your husband loves his mother a lot and notices that you rapport with his mom, believe me, he will love you more. All right. But when he finds out that you don't even want to see his mother, like so many women, so many ladies, in fact, they don't even want to see their mother-in-law. Sometimes I wonder, are you also forgetting that one day you're going to be someone's mother-in-law? Are you also forgetting that it's really you have sons, and tomorrow in the future, God helping you, keeping you alive, will also be a mother-in-law to them? Have you forgotten, or you think maybe your own case is different? You say, "Hey, God forbid, I will not have a bad daughter-in-law," and you presently you are a bad daughter-in-law to someone's mother, and you want to gain a good daughter-in-law. I am going to tell you to please stop and think twice about it, because what goes around does what comes around. Even the Bible said it. Whatsoever a man soweth, he does what he reaps. So let's learn how to manage our in-laws, especially the women and their mother-in-laws. All right, don't just focus on I'm marrying my husband alone, so to hell with other people. No, it's not right. So my good ladies, the ones that are married and the ones that are planning to marry, remember this thing I'm talking today. All right, please don't pray that your mother-in-law dies, because you don't want somebody to be somewhere praying that you also die before she will marry your son. Now, if you have a woman who is a Jezebel as a mother-in-law, don't forget what I've just said. You cannot change her. And she's not a Jezebel because she saw you. That woman has Jezebelic tendencies in her. She came with a dark heart, and there's nothing you can do. So what do? Stay far from her. Don't go about creating conflict and katakata everywhere. Stay far from her. Now, if you have a good mother-in-law, learn to treat her well. Don't take her goodness for granted. In all, remember, as a single lady, you are praying to have sons tomorrow. You will also be someone's mother-in-law. So let's treat them right. Okay, there you have it. And in my next video, I would love to see you also. If you've not known my name is Glory, aka Glow Dikani. Yes. So I'm so interested in talking about marriages because I've seen a lot, I've heard a lot. In fact, I've seen a lot. Even though I'm happy, I was lucky both in the man I married and the mother-in-law I got, I'm still concerned about what other people are seeing around me. That's the reason for this channel and our Facebook page and all that. So if you've not followed us, better do so on our Facebook page. And if you've not subscribed to this channel, do so now. We have a lot of things to talk about. All right, we share our opinion. You can go and drop a comment, or maybe the next topic you want me to deal on, or your own experience with your own mother-in-law, or whatever. If you have a good mother-in-law, I will also want to see it, read about it in the comment section. Okay, I'll be seeing you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe and share our videos. I love you.